April 29th, 2022 wasn't the easiest chase forecast. The Day 2 outlook from the Storm Prediction Center had outlined a large enhanced risk and mentioned a chance of discrete supercells firing along the dry line, with the potential for an intense tornado or two. Many chasers went to what seemed to be the obvious target on the Day 1 outlook, a triple point in northern Kansas and southern Nebraska. I, however, wanted to play the dry line for a shot at a lone supercell and hopefully a tornado. Unfortunately, there was also a chance that these dryline supercells would be stifled by the cap. Conditional risk or not, I didn't want to drive all the way to Kansas to see any linear segments, so I headed to the dryline in hopes of a supercell. As per usual, that morning the high-resolution models weren't providing much in the way of guidance on the true potential for storms along the dry line. Some showed no storms, while others showed storms further to the south in central Oklahoma. The late morning and afternoon runs, however, started to pick up on initiation along the dry line in Kansas and Oklahoma, but it still wasn't a certainty the storms would initiate. Modeled forecast soundings from the 1 p.m. run were showing a potentially volatile yet conditional environment near Wichita at 7 p.m. Central Time. The HRRR is producing large amounts of CAPE, despite some mixing at the surface, in addition to ample amounts of shear. The high-res NAM forecasted even more shear and a little less instability, though still plenty to feed any potential storm in the area. The RAP model soundings forecasted a bit more mixing and therefore a bit more cap. Still quite a bit of lower-level shear for supercells, but only if a storm could break the cap. By this time, I was already closing in on southern Kansas, and real-time observations would be the key to understanding how the environment was shaping up along the dry line. The National Weather Service in Norman had released their 1 p.m. sounding, and despite being much farther south on the dry line, the data showed an eroding cap and a well-developing shear profile. The 4 p.m. meso-analysis from the Storm Prediction Center would show a large swath of high CAPE values from northwest Texas into central Kansas with very little capping inversion remaining, and by 3:30 Central Time, cumulus fields had developed along the dry line, with developing supercells near the triple point. By 3:45, I stopped just southeast of Newton, Kansas, but from my vantage point, the cumulus towers were really struggling. There were a lot of attempts at convective initiation along the dry line, but all the bases were quickly deteriorating as they struggled with the cap. Wispy, fuzzy bases were a good sign that the ingredients weren't quite there yet across central Kansas. A quick look on the radar showed developing storms in Oklahoma. It was impossible to catch them, but as a chaser based out of Oklahoma, I had a moment of regret after driving all the way to Kansas when there might be supercells in Oklahoma. Around 5 p.m., I decided to head west to get a new USB charger and to take a look at the radar. Storms were beginning to initiate to my north, but I had underestimated how far south I was. And despite how close I was to I-35, I wasn't sure I'd be able to reach storms in time before the cold front intersected the supercells, eventually forming a line. Another quick check with satellite, and I felt better about driving to Kansas because the storms in Oklahoma had fizzled. But at this point, I was seriously considering the possibility that this chase was turning into a bust since I hadn't gone far enough north. To salvage the day in central Kansas, I decided to head back into Wichita and make a stop at the National Weather Service office so I could at least get a few shots of their radome. As I was making my way south, I saw that the supercells to my north had gone tornado warned with a confirmed tornado reported. Many chasers are familiar with how easy it is to second-guess their decision-making while chasing, but at this point, it was too late for me to turn back north as I wouldn't catch these storms in time. As I arrived at the Wichita airport, I hopped out to get some pictures at the National Weather Service office, only to realize that a storm was forming directly in front of me. As this supercell outraced me to the northeast without any signs of low-level rotation, I kept my eye on a developing supercell to the south and west of Wichita. If I wanted to see a tornado that day, this new storm would give me the best chance, and after a few final shots, I made my way south on Andover Road.
All right. Wow, that was quick. Large tornado starting. Wow. Oh, violent motion at the ground. Oh, power flashes. Turning into quite a strong tornado. Wow. It's time to head east. Oh, I hope everybody's okay. Looks like a very strong tornado. Yep, here it is. Looks like tornado might be starting to rip out. Hopefully we can find a road that's not gravel. Looks like this is going to be our not gravel road. Okay. Oh, there it is. There it is. Tornado's roping out. I'm gonna sit here and let this thing rope out. Wow. Alright, we're probably gonna head off to the south here. Yep.
After the tornado dissipated, I followed the storm to the east and managed to catch a glimpse of at least one more tornado before the line of storms along the cold front crashed into my storm, forcing me to flee south. Overall, this was definitely my best chase of the year, especially with the great news that no fatalities occurred as the tornado went through Andover. For more storm chasing content, feel free to check out the channel and like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.